Well, Tuesday is going to mark President Trump's 100th day in office. The milestone comes amid economic concerns over the president's bold approach to trade policy and trade war with China.
WENY Washington correspondent Brendan Scanlon is live tonight with more. Brendan, what can you tell us?
Hey there, Renata and Nick. Good evening. Well, out of the dozens and dozens of countries that were targeted by the Trump administration when we're talking about tariffs, some of them did see temporary relief with that 90-day tariff pause. Others have come to the table to negotiate a deal with President Trump. But one of the United States' largest trading partners is really locked in a heated trade war with America as we speak, and there are no signs of it cooling quite just yet.
We're going to make a lot of money and we're going to cut taxes for the people of this country.
On the eve of President Trump's 100th day in office, disruptions in global trade being felt at major U.S. ports.
We're starting to see unfold is the impact of the cost rising for businesses.
The number of vessels scheduled to arrive next week at the port of Los Angeles, a top destination for Asian imports, is down by almost a third compared to the same period last year.
China has been such a big market for importing that it's really put a shutdown, and that's why we're seeing what's happening with the ports. And so it's going to be very reminiscent of the pandemic when the global supply lines shut down and you just won't be able to get goods.
With no plans to reduce the 145% tariff on Chinese imports, economist Benga Ajilare says higher prices and less jobs could be inevitable.
When we pull back on our spending, that means businesses get less revenue. If they're getting less revenue, then they're concerned about their input costs. Primary input cost is wages. So now you're thinking about unemployment, you're thinking about job loss.
And they decide to add $1 or $2. Well, that's them being greedy.
But fund manager Grant Cardone has a more optimistic view of the tariff approach. He says fingers should be pointed at large companies for higher costs, not the president. Unlike a tax, Cardone says consumers can choose whether they want to pay for a more expensive product.
This is voluntary. I get to voluntarily decide whether I pay a price, different from a tax.
At the end of the day, Cardone believes the president's bold trade policy will hurt China more than the U.S.
Start canceling orders. All that gets shipped back to China or will sit in their inventory. China's already a crippled economy. Every problem we have, they have 1.4 billion X problems than we have.
And Renata and Nick, tomorrow President Trump will actually be traveling to Michigan to deliver his 100th day in office achievement speech, where we expect him to sort of outline and go over the various accomplishments of his administration thus far. We're also going to be watching very closely at the White House, where some officials are expected to discuss some tariff and trade updates. So we're going to be watching that very closely as well to see what comes out of the White House tomorrow morning. Reporting live on Capitol Hill for WENY News, I'm Brendan Scanlon. Renata and Nick, back to you.